Alright, so today we're going to do a plant update, and it's going to be mostly centered on bonsai, but we're also going to just go through all the other plants really quick. So first here we've got the sago palm. It has a new flush of growth. Those are the old leaves from last year and the new ones this year. It started growing before I put it outside, maybe around like late April. So we got some tips that kind of burned in the sun, but it's mostly alright. Here we've got some sea grapes. This one's doing well. This one's doing very poorly, but I wasn't going to buy grow lights for this entire plant, so I just figured, you know, I've got so many sea grapes. It can kind of do what it wants. I might, you know, cut it back, see if it has any back budding, but this is kind of one of those, you know, I dug it up on a beach for free one year on vacation, so I don't really care about it. Plus, since I've got these and I've got some over there, it's not a big deal. So this is that, what is this, the paintbrush plant? I forgot both the common name and the scientific name of this, but it's got new growth up here, very large leaves, trunk growing a little bit. You can see the green splits. We need a lot more growth from this though. The thing is, when I bought it, it was in a container. I mean, for a big ass plant like this, it was in a very tiny container, so this is up potted, and I would like to put it in a bigger pot, but I want this one to fill out with the roots before I put it in something, you know, that's like that size. And so here's the cardboard palm. It has some, you know, one growth here, another growth. I'm fertilizing it with a lot of nitrogen to see if we get any more growth. But I think it's at this point where it's not going to make a new ring of growth every year like that sago palm, because these have a tendency to start dividing. So we're just going to kind of see how that grows, but overall it's pretty good. Here we've got some bromeliads from Florida. They're not in the best shape because, I mean, I don't have grow lights for all this stuff. It's all, you know, most of it is kind of stuff that I got for free that is in the worst condition because, you know, it was free. I don't really care. I already spent a lot of money for the fly trap grow lights and then for the mangrove, so, you know, I guess if you're upset that they have slight sunburn on them, you can PayPal me some donations for grow lights, but I don't think anybody's going to do that, so I guess you're just going to have to deal with it, and I hope I don't get too many, you know, butthurt comments. Nepenthes doing pretty well. I just put it outside. I just put all these outside actually, so it's kind of here acclimating, getting a little bit more reddish coloration on the leaves. Here we have people are gonna love this because they, you know, they hate all my bonsai videos, so any failure I have is going to be very amusing for them. This is that Mimosa bahamensis. And so why did it die? Well, I put it inside in the winter and it started to suffer, so I put it under one grow lamp. That was not enough, but it's kind of the same scenario as all the other plants. I mean, if you want to, you know, PayPal me a couple $100 for grow lights, because I don't want to do it. But at the same time, I mean, if the grow lights I had weren't sufficient, it just didn't seem worth it to me to buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars of grow lights for one plant. So anyways, yeah, I knew what was wrong. I just didn't have the financial resources to, you know, have Florida sunlight inside my house all day. So that's that. I guess we'll go to the main section here now. So Mangrove's doing pretty well. They're pretty large. I mean, as you can see, that's like my hand. So this is a pretty large plant. It's getting kind of a hassle to bring it inside and outside every year and just to have enough grow lights for this entire thing. So I don't know. I think what I might do is just kind of start over from some of the propagules I have. I should actually move those somewhere into the light. And then, so that's the red mangrove. Here we have that black mangrove, and then this is the white mangrove. So again, they're overgrowing, and kind of want to start over from seedlings. I wonder if I can get inside of here. That'd be easier. I'm kind of tipping over too, but I might have to up pot those. All right. Darlingtonia, Californica. Something was digging in here. That's terrific. Cobra Lily, it's doing all right for now. We're gonna see kind of how it grows in this new setup over the summer. And I've got some pitcher plants here. Dormancy was pretty hard on them, but we have new growth, so you know, by the end of June it should be looking slightly better. Bought a coconut palm. I don't know why. It's, you know, as if the plants I have already weren't bad enough. So fly traps all doing pretty good. Some slight sunburn because I transitioned them from indoors to outdoors, but you know, very nice red color on that. Others, you know, they got some sunburn on them, but they should recover. Once you put them outside, they start eating and getting full sun. They grow very quickly, so it's not that big of a deal. I think I might take this one out. So this is the European larch. Left it in this container because, you know, it's still a thin trunk and it didn't have too many roots, so I always let it fill up the pot completely with roots before I up pot it again, because otherwise I don't really see, you know, too much of a point. Because then if, you know, you have too much soil at once and it stays wet, you get rot issues. But anyways, fertilized this very well because the branching structure was just terrible on it. So what we have now, maybe if I can separate this out, we had the first growth, and then we had the second growth, and now we're actually getting tertiary growths. And that's along the entire plant if you look closely. So that was, you know, the first growth, kind of like a pom-pom of foliage. Then it sent out this second growth. And now, you know, we get third growths all over the side. So good for ramification. That's kind of what I wanted, because when I looked at kind of the structure of the tree, you know, on the inside there was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't really anything that was special. There wasn't too much branching, so I just figured, you know what, we're just going to let it grow out. Once this all hardens off and then the needles fall off, we're going to see, you know, how much ramification we can get, and then we'll prune it back, wire it. But for now, if there's no branches, there's nothing to wire, so I'm just going to let it grow as much as it wants this year, and then we'll do something with it later. Alright, so here we have the larch. Very tall. I'm letting it grow as tall as it wants to thicken that trunk. I got comments recently about, you know, if you want it to thicken the trunk, you should plant it in the ground. Yes, I've known that for 10 years, but as you can see, I don't know, where do you want me to put it? Because this is the only options I have right now. So, I mean, if you see an area for me to plant a tree, obviously I'm not going to do it in the middle of the lawn. So if you see an area for me to plant this, please let me know, because maybe I don't know, something happened to my brain and I don't see any place, but maybe you do. Also, I can't dig any of this shit out because it's not mine, and anyways, you know, the fence provides, you know, let me go over there for a second, because that's too much shade anyways. This is a terrible location. We've got one tree there, another tree there, there's just too much shade in the yard. So we have the bald cypress here, and I mean, this is, I think I've already shown this problem, where there's shade, there's no growth, so it's all on this side. So I'm gonna have to dig that up next year and put it in a container so I can grow it on the sunny patio. So yeah, I know it thickens easily when you plant it in the ground, but I don't have that option right now, so what the hell do you want me to do about it? I mean, the same thing with the grow lights for some of my plants. If you want to finance a new yard for me, I'll accept donations. I'll give you my PayPal address and you can send me over, you know, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 to, you know, buy a different house in a different location. So If you want to do that, I would be happy to accept it. Anyways, this larch is a disaster. Mainly what I'm having problems with is all the branching in here. So this is not too bad. We've got, you know, some kind of foliage pads starting to establish in different locations, kind of a nice circle around the top. We had a lot of this first growth. I cut a lot of it off, and now we're getting secondary growths inside of there. And like here, secondary growth, so that's good, ramification. You know, the apex is growing, very nice. It'll keep getting taller and taller, and then the trunk will get thicker. I don't need it to get, you know, too much thicker, but I'm looking for something maybe double that size, so in a container this big it should be fine. Yeah, I up-potted it because the container I had it in last year got circled around with roots, so I figured, okay, if I can see pure roots when I take it out of the pot, I better up-pot it. So some of the branches down here are just growing like crazy because I let them, because I want some thickness down here. I'm leaving, you know, all that because these are very thin. I need them to thicken up. That's mainly, you know, that's pretty much all I can do, because if you have, you know, very bad, you know, open areas in here, all I can let it do is just ramification, 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 and hopefully one year we'll have enough to where we can sort of start styling it. You know, we got one thick branch there. I just need these to thicken up. We've got some thick ones here that started growing, so we just need to wait with that. I'm gonna skip over these and then go to the Dawn Redwood. So basically, to avoid that problem where you know, it's kind of like the branches that are there were kind of the branches that the previous owner selected to leave. So, you know, if they allowed these ones in the top to thicken before the thin ones, I have to deal with that now. This one was almost a seedling, so I mean, it's pretty tall now. I don't know if I made a video about it last year, but it was very, you know, the trunk is very thin. It's not really anything special. And it's got, you know, by allowing it to grow like this, we're getting a nice circular growth. So it should be very even in terms of branch spacing, a lot of ramification on this. So we're just gonna let that grow and grow and grow as much as it possibly can. And then when all the leaves fall off, we'll take a look at the branches. Alright, so here we have that Mexican cypress. It lost some of the, you know, foliage on the inside during the winter, but again, you know, I'd have to buy stronger grow lights for it, so I'll probably have to do that by next winter, but it's not too bad. You can see it still has a good number of branches and leaves on it. There's some new growth there. So again, I'm just going to let it grow as much as it possibly wants because it has a thin trunk. So we just kind of need maximum growth, and the branches weren't that great anyways, so again, same theory as with all these other ones, ramification, 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 and then once we have a crazy amount of ramification, then we can do branch selection. When you're kind of limited to this, it, you know, doesn't make sense to me because none of them were really, you know, that not that good. And actually what the guy in Florida told me when I was at Weigert's nursery was to just cut it off there and let, you know, the entire tree grow back from a new branch. Right now I don't see the sense in that because the more foliage we have, the more photosynthetic activity, and then it's going to be pumping more, you know, energy around the whole plant to, you know, produce new growth and new roots. So we're just kind of gonna let it sit and just grow for one season, come back to it. Here's the pine, and I was thinking about cutting those candles off, but when I thought about it, I realized what I want is very tight growth on the bottom, and when all the energy is getting sent up to the top, it kind of, you know, it makes these compact without having to prune them. So since, you know, the branching is kind of sparse, and, you know, that's how I bought it. Sparse, wasn't really, you know, any kind of developed foliage pads. I'm letting it grow, and so it's kind of a nice effect because that grows taller and gets, you know, the trunk thicker, while these, they don't receive as many nutrients because all the growth is focused up here, but that's very good for us because then we get tighter, more compact growth where we want it. I don't know how I'm gonna style this, to be honest, because it just, with like larches and stuff, it's sort of easier for me to imagine because we can prune it and start to get, you know, foliage pads, and it's just a matter of wiring it later on when we have enough ramification. With something like this, it's so, you know, we've got a thin branch here, that kind of, you know, gap there, and then it gets kind of, you know, thicker up here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask somebody about it who knows more about styling a tree than me. So when it has enough growth, I'm gonna take it over, have somebody look at it if they want to, and give me some advice on wiring it. I know a lot of people are going to be surprised by that because from the comments I get, it seems like most people think I came on YouTube and said I was some kind of expert, a master about, you know, bonsai. Even though I don't recall saying that. If you've seen me say that, please let me know. Because I don't recall it, but some people seem to, you know, think that. Pretty much what I'm doing right now is just growing them. Growing them, styling later. There's no sense in styling a plant if it doesn't have a good branch structure. You know, it's like this one. What the hell am I supposed to style here? The branches are terrible. So I'm growing it out first, then I'm gonna style it. If there's nothing to style, what am I supposed to style? Just some of the comments I get, I just don't understand what the hell people want from me. So that's that. You know, we need more ramification, we need more branches, so we're just fertilizing it. Heavy nitrogen, all of these get heavy nitrogen. And also some bone meal for the root growth. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And we'll come back eventually. And the branches thicken up, leaves fall off, style it. Alright, so for the rest of the stuff is just kind of, you know, Sarracenia starting to grow. There's one there. I have to pull out a lot of weeds in these. We've got some of the plants from Florida. We've got, you know, I forgot about this ginkgo. It was in the garage until last week, actually, so I just took it out. And, you know, some of that, it was like a red pineapple that washed up on the shore in Florida one time, so I took it. Propagated it. Doesn't have red coloration because it was inside all winter. No grow lights. Again, if somebody wants to buy me some, I'd be happy. And then we have that. Never found out what it was, or, you know, somebody might have actually told me what it was and I forgot about it because I guess it doesn't really matter to me that much. So that's growing. So overall, that's pretty much the situation now. I've got some sundews inside and then that helium for a grow chamber, but I might just have to leave that until a different day.